Hey, good morning, guys. So I decided to do rather than quiz today because we had a couple questions that were still that people still had. I don't know if you can hear my daughter screaming in the background, but what we'll do is I'll kind of speak to the answers on the review sheet today, and then what we'll do is I'll leave tomorrow, Thursday. Well, no, I'll leave today open to questions, and I'll leave Friday, day 5, open to questions, and then next week we'll take the quiz. Now it is Memorial Day weekend, so we won't meet on Monday, so it'll just be Tuesday. But hopefully this gives us more time to ask questions if we have it. I know there's people that are taking AP tests, so I know they're probably focusing on that as you should be. So we'll just kind of scratch that today. You'll watch this to make sure you have an understanding of it, and if you have any questions, please make sure you reach out to me and get those addressed. So again, use the identity sheet, expand it out. Whenever you're subtracting, I would just kind of have the idea of the parentheses in your head because you're going to end up distributing that negative. And then after you do that, the same thing just applies for every problem in that you're going to cancel something out and you're going to group the other two terms together. Once you do those two things, you then are going to you're going to put a value into the equation. And in this case, the value of what is sine of pi over 4. And it's root 2 over 2. Once you insert that value, then you just simplify, group like terms, you work to solve for x. The 2's cancel. It's root 2 sine x. You divide by root 2, but you have to rationalize. So you're asking yourself, which angles have a y value of root 2 over 2? Okay. Glad I'm checking this now because this answer is not right. It should be y is positive. So it should be pi over 4, and it should be 3 pi over 4. I wrote 7 there, but it should be 3 pi over 4. Okay. So pi over 4, 3 pi over 4. Had this been an x, then those would have been my answers. Had this been cosine x, because cosine's positive in the first and the fourth quadrant, but sine's positive in the first and the second quadrant. So it should be pi over 4 and 3 pi over 4. In this one, same thing. Use the identity, expand it out. This one, you're adding the two together, so you don't have to really worry about that distributing of the negative. But nonetheless, two terms will cancel. You'll group the other two together. At this point, cosine of 4 pi over 3. So what is the x value of 4 pi over 3? Well, it's negative 1/2, right? Because cosine is negative in the third quadrant, so it's negative 1/2. If I multiply these together, that would give me negative 1. I divide, I get sine x equals negative 1/2. All right, so which two angles have a y value of negative 1/2? Well, the reference angle would be pi over 6. But I got this one right because sine is negative in quadrants 3 and quadrants 4. So in 3 we have 7 pi over 6, and in 4 we have 11 pi over 6. So please do me a favor. Watch this video today. Organize yourself if you have questions. Ask me, and what we'll do is we'll bump that quiz back, and we'll take it next week. Okay. So that leaves today, Wednesday, to get questions asked. I know we don't meet tomorrow, but if tomorrow's better for you and you have questions, just shoot me an email. Friday being our day 5, that's really when you should get these things addressed and catch up on some missed work. You can do the same, and we can hopefully get those answered on Friday. And we'll go from there. All right. Talk to you soon. Have a good day.